And hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. This is the second podcast on this particular channel. And my question to you is science really science just because someone has said so? Stick around. We are going to examine this in a lot more detail in this particular episode. All right, here we go. Or not. Oh, here we go. And of course, that song was written by Shattered Heart. The name of the song is called Therapy Session, for those of you who might be interested. And I want to thank the band for allowing me to use that particular song for this channel. So this is something that has been on my mind for quite some time, and I wanted to have a conversation about this. We see, especially on YouTube, we see more and more people saying that what they are doing is scientifically proven when it comes to the paranormal. Now, I want to mention, before I go any further with this, and I have said this many, many times, and I feel like it's something that I still need to say, is that yes, I do believe in a life after death. I do believe that consciousness is energy, and I do feel and I believe that there is a place for that in paranormal. I do believe there is a place for real science to be used in the paranormal. I think the term scientifically proven has been used pretty hard and fast and very loosely within the within the YouTube creator space as a way to garner believability for what they are doing. Now, here's the thing, though. A lot of what they are doing, I do not believe is actual scientific proof, and I'm going to get into why that alone is a fallacy here in a little bit. And we're going to talk about what is real science, what's not real science, and how to identify legitimate scientific research. Okay? Now, one thing that I have started to do over the past year is throw my credentials out there. Normally, that's not something that I would do historically, but because we do have some people out there saying that what they are doing is scientifically proven, I felt it important to actually show credentials so that you know who you're getting your information from, and to welcome you to do your own research, to not just take someone's word for it. And so what I have prepared, I shouldn't say prepare, what I have gathered today hopefully is at least enough to get the thought process started. Okay. And what sorry, I can't chew gum and walk at the same time. As I was saying, I haven't normally in the past thrown my credentials up there. But I wanted to do that so that you would know, the audience would know, that I do know how to research. I do know how to conduct actual testing. Now, I have an undergraduate degree that's a dual degree in human psychology and business management. Then I have a master's in business administration. For years, I worked in health and human services as a qualified mental health associate. In fact, I am still listed with the state of Nevada with those credentials. And what I would primarily do is work on behavioral issues. But what I wanted to, because I understand that anybody can say that they have a degree in something. But what I wanted to do is I actually wanted to show you, this is a photo. I don't know if you can see me right over here with my graduation class. This was for the master's program. And so I did just want to show that, yes, I did go to school. I do have my education. And I was supposed to stop sharing that. But yeah, these are some other photos. Me in a sombrero in Arizona. All right, so let's get out of this real quick. All right, so I did go to school. And so when I hear someone say that something is scientifically proven, there are certain things that I am looking for. I'm looking for the research. I'm looking for the write-up. I'm looking for, if possible, a peer review. And when I hear someone using an app that's plugged into a guitar amplifier saying that what they have done is scientifically proven, and then turn around and say that some people just don't understand science, I'm going to throw that right back out and say, yeah, some people do not understand science. So, first and foremost, can something be scientifically proven? I have a paper that I want to share with you right here. And again, I apologize. I have not used this in quite some time, so bear with me as I get back into using this. So here's a paper that is written by Dr. Satoshi Kanazawa, and I'm showing this screen so that you know that he is an actual doctor at the London School of Economics. Okay, so we're going to get out of that. And his paper, and I'm sure there's another way that I can do this that I'm unaware of, but this is how I'm doing it right now. So here's a paper that he wrote. This is through Psychology Today. Now, Psychology Today is a professional peer review journal in psychology. And he wrote a paper on the common misconceptions about scientific proof. And if you take a look right down here, he says, misconceptions about the nature and practice of science abound and are sometimes even held by otherwise respectable practicing scientists themselves. I have dispelled some of them, misconceptions, not scientists, in earlier posts. Unfortunately, there are many other misconceptions about science. One of the most common misconceptions concerns the so-called scientific proof. Contrary to popular belief, there is no such thing as scientific proof, but he goes on to explain why. Proof exists only in mathematics and logic, not in science. Keep in mind, this is a paper written by a PhD level psychologist. Mathematics and logic are both closed, self-contained systems of propositions, whereas science is empirical and deals with nature as it exists, meaning that it can always change. The primary criterion and standard of evaluation of scientific theory is evidence, not proof. So, evidence goes into support an idea. As he mentioned earlier, proof means that it's a closed, self-contained proposition. Almost like a law, okay? Scientists prefer theories for which there is more and better evidence to theories for which there is less and worse evidence. Proofs are not the currency of science. So here is a paper, and it goes on, written by a doctor who is an evolutionary psychologist, who states that there is no proof in science. There is evidence to support an idea. So, for someone to say that they have scientific proof, or that something has been scientifically proven, that within itself is a flawed idea. Now, any of this can be researched. I am giving you names. I am giving you the websites that you can go to. What I am trying to do, and let me make this very, very clear. What I am hoping to do is not cause someone to lose their channel or cause someone to lose a means of financial gain. I have mentioned many times that if somebody can make a living on YouTube, I support that. The only reason I have recently started to come out and be a little more vocal about these particular issues is because when someone says that something is scientifically proven, but they have not gone through the proper steps, and I know they have not gone through the proper steps because I have gone to school, it is a slap in the face to the people who actually do research, who do study. Now, one thing that I have on here is that I am a registered parapsychologist, and we can always talk about it at some point, what a parapsychologist actually is. But what I do want to show you, just because I feel that this also needs, I feel that evidence needs evidence, type of thing. So what I want to show you is, I'm going to share this screen real quick. So if you look up the Parapsychological Association, okay, you can tell I've already clicked on it, but I'm going to click on it again. I'm going to bring this screen up, and you can see right here, this is me. I am a member of the Parapsychological Association. I talk about my education, and I talk about what my areas of study are, psychology, the paranormal, religion, consciousness as energy, and especially tied into biology, chemistry, and thermodynamics, because I believe the laws that surround those can what help explain what we see as paranormal. So I'm not doing this to brag. I am doing this to show you, for those who are interested, that I do have some legitimacy in this. Okay, so let me get out of this. Okay, so back to people saying that what they do is scientifically proven. All right, so what I want to do, a lot of this is going to be through the University of Berkeley, and I want to show just a few things. Actually, there's going to be quite a few things, so just bear with me on this and make sure I'm getting the right screen here. Okay, so here we go. So here is, again, this is the University of Berkeley. This is Understanding Science 101. So because it was mentioned that there are some people out there who do not understand science, but yet did not take the opportunity to educate about science, I figured I would step in and I would help that particular person out. Okay. So what this says, and this, again, like I had mentioned, this is from University of Berkeley, Understanding Science. And this says, ultimately, scientific ideas must not only be testable, but must actually be tested. Now, I'm going to stop right there, and I'm going to ask, what tests have any of these people done? Creating a video does not qualify as a test. It is a video. And a video within itself is flawed only because it can be edited. This is why I have asked on numerous occasions, very publicly, that these creators do what they do live, so that we can see how everything is set up, how we can hear if the responses that are coming through are what they have claimed in their edited videos. I have done many, many, many lives. I have done many experiments live. Some have been fantastic. Some maybe not so much. But we learn from both. So anybody who says that what they do is scientifically proven, have them do it live. And not for paid memberships, but for anybody. Because the idea behind science is to test and retest and test again to weed out any of the possible flaws. That's the idea of it. And so it has to actually be tested. If they're not showing tests, if they're giving you an edited video, that is not a test. That is an edited video. Okay? Now, this continues to go on to say, preferably with many different lines of evidence by many different people. So recently, there was a video that came out by this particular content creator that said that the Necrometer app has been scientifically proven to contact spirits. I did a 2-day test on this, and the results that I got were night and day different from the results that that particular creator claimed to have received. Now, some will say, well, you're just not in tune with spirit like that person is. And I don't believe that's the case in any way, shape, or form. I've been doing this for about 25 years at this point, and I've used a variety of techniques and equipment. Some have worked, some have not. And to do a multi-day test and the results were different than that person's results means that it needs more testing. The results that I got were the same from day to day. And in my opinion, tells me that that particular app did not serve its purpose and that it needs to be reworked. Now, I know some will argue that you're just not in tune with spirit as much as others. Maybe you're too closed-minded and all of this other stuff. And that's the furthest thing from the truth. I believe in spirit. I believe in our consciousness as energy. I do not believe everything that is thrown at me, and neither should you. You should question everything. That's why I'm doing this. This is why I am... Here, let me... There we go. This is why I'm doing this way, because it's not enough to just be a talking head. You have to also put your money where your mouth is, so to speak. So that's why we have this. Now, the other thing that's on here... Let's see, where did I leave off at? Okay, so this says that scientists actively seek evidence to test their ideas, even if the test is difficult and means, for example, spending years working on a single experiment. So we have people who, yes, have worked for years on a single experiment, on a single idea. This particular content creator, I am sorry, is coming out quite often with a new device, with a new app, saying that what they have done is scientifically proven. And no, it's not scientifically proven. I have done videos where it shows that this particular creator has a relationship with the person who has developed the app. So to me, it seems more like a marketing ploy than it is actual scientific proof. And I'm bothered by this person saying that it's scientific proof because, as we've already shown, there is no such thing as scientific proof. And it's misleading the audience. And that, to me, it's a slippery slope that we are now on. So one thing, if you take a look to the corner here, we have, and again, this is from Berkeley. We have a scientific checklist. So is the item that you are testing, in this case, we're going to say life after death, okay, focuses on the natural world. Technically paranormal, that within itself can be debated whether or not it is natural or not. But because I'm coming from a place of it being energy related, which can be measured through thermodynamics, I'm going to say that yes, it is part of the natural world. Okay, so aims to explain the natural world. And I think that's what in general we are doing, is trying to explain this natural part of living, and of course, that being death. Now we go into uses testable ideas. Well, again, an edited video is not a testable idea. Hinting to people with a cardboard box and wire sticking out of it that you're working on an experiment, that's not a testable idea. Now, I am going to contrast that with my own experiences. My question was, if consciousness is energy, then that means that it falls under the same rules of thermodynamics, meaning that energy is neither created nor destroyed, it simply moves on into entropy, and that energy can be contained, but it can also be expelled. That in conjunction with speech being both tone and frequency that travels on a wave and disrupts air. So my question was, can we record that? And so I researched ways in which you can record the sound of nothing. And that's what led me into understanding how scientists in the field locate bats, because of the sonar that bats use, that these scientists are using ultrasonic receivers and amplifiers. And I thought, well, if we are to simply use I'm going to get out of this real quick. If we are to use an ultrasonic receiver, can we then pick up true spirit communication? Now, for those who are interested, I actually did tests on this. I believe it was throughout the entire month of November of last year, as a matter of fact. Let me get this for you real quick. Okay, so if we go into my channel and you go into playlist, which, okay, I'm already at, right here, you're going to see experiments. Okay. And if you are to look over here on the side, all of my tests and my experiments have been done. It gives the date. In fact, here was one right here. Okay, see, is there audio on this? There should be. Yeah, in a moment, I believe I'm going to start talking about, and I'm not going to play the whole thing for you, but I do want you to see that not only was this a test that I ran, but you can also tell that it was done live. And many of these tests were done live. And I believe that is important. So when we get into people making claims that what they do is scientifically proven, I have begged them, I have very publicly said, do it live. And not just for paid members, but do it live for everybody. Because if you're truly wanting to do scientific research, then the more eyes you have on this, the better. So far, that has not been done. That has been ignored. And so again, I apologize, guys. I can't chew gum and walk at the same time. And I'm sorry, I can hear my voice is getting monotone right now. And so something I definitely do not mean to do. So let's get back over here real quick, make this a little bit bigger. Okay, uses testable ideas. So are these people using testable ideas? No, what they are doing is they are getting an app from someone. They are creating a video, a video which has been edited. And then they're saying that what they have done is scientifically proven. So far, it has not met any of the guidelines for being scientifically proven. And then we have here relies on evidence. So this is where that confusion comes in, because we have a video that has been edited and we are trusting the person who's giving this information, the responses that are coming through, that must be the evidence then. And this person can get away with, because I've read on that particular video, I've read comments that came through, people saying, hey, I'm not getting the same stuff as you. Does this mean that I'm not as connected to spirit? And he wrote back saying, yeah, it's going to take you a long time. It just means that you're not completely connected to spirit. And that can be soul crushing to a person who is truly trying to reach out to either a loved one or family member or whoever. I believe that we all have the ability to reach spirit and contact spirit. And for this type of information to come out, I believe can be harmful. Now, if this were truly scientifically proven, then that means that person Z would get the exact same level of responses as person A across the board. But that's not the case. People are saying, hey, I'm not getting that kind of response, or hey, I'm just getting gibberish on my end. I'm not getting, so to say that it is scientifically proven, can you see where I'm going with this now? That we've already established that there is no such thing as scientific proof. Okay. There is evidence that can support an idea, but there is no such thing as scientific proof, for one. Two, there's been no testing that has been done. There's been no public testing that's been done. And anybody else, and I don't want to say it's 100% of the population, but there are enough people that have come forward saying that they're not getting the same level of responses, that they got rid of the app or what have you, that discounts scientific evidence right there. Okay. Now here's another one. It involves the scientific community. Here we go, right here. Involves the scientific community. So we are not seeing this individual reach out to any university professors. We're not seeing legitimate university professors. We're not seeing this person reach out to any type of organization requesting that this information be tested further. This is a solo individual who is making claims of scientific proof. So far, we are not hitting any of the landmarks that are needed to actually be counted as scientific proof. We're just not. I'm sorry. Now, that being said, as I showed you earlier, I'm a member of the Parapsychological Association. I have submitted, in fact, let me bring that up. I have submitted a paper that I wrote on my study. Where's it at? Here we go. Okay, so this is a paper that I wrote on a test of the possibility of ultrasonic recording in paranormal research. So I'm not saying proof. I'm not saying there's evidence. I'm saying there's a possibility of this. And this is something that we can press forward more. And so if we go down, okay, so we have our abstract that talks about it. We get into what the idea, technically this should be titled question and not theory, because there's a difference between a personal theory and a scientific theory. But we have what the question is. We have what the idea is. Then we go into testing. We talk about what's used in the testing. We talk about the dates. We're using military time just to confirm what time of day this is done. We have a setup that has everything explained of what is what and where and what the devices are. And this is testing ultrasonic frequencies. And then we get into the results and what the variables were. That was the big thing about this, or what are the variables that are put in. Okay, and right in here, we can see that on some cases, there were no results at all. So why did we get results here? What was different between this test compared to here where we got no results? And that's why it's important to have the variables put in. What was different from test to test? Okay, then we talk into the limitations of the sensors. For example, an ultrasonic sensor cannot pierce through a wall. So you can't pick up any sounds from outside. You can put a piece of paper, and I showed this live, you can put a piece of paper over an ultrasonic receiver, and you're not going to hear, it's not going to pick up any of that audio. Okay? Now, here's something else. We have additional findings. Okay, so we get into what software was used, what frequencies did we dial into. And so anybody would be able to take what I wrote down and test it themselves. And some people have. I do want to say real quick, though, that one of the reasons why people aren't doing this is because, one, they don't want to build the device. Two, they don't want to take the time to actually dig into the audio. An app that you can buy for $10, or in some cases free, the work is already done for you, and you can get clear results. But it's not science. Okay? It's not something that has any groundwork in science. It is an app that you bought from someone else. And here's a person right here, John Joe McFadden. Look him up. Look up John Joe McFadden and the theory of consciousness is energy. I believe he is a professor at NYU. So he is someone to look up. And then, lo and behold, I have all my references to back up and support my claims. So are we seeing a difference here between what is researchable science and what is not? And unfortunately, the people that need to see this are not going to be the ones to see it. But I hope that some of you that you see where I'm going with this, that you appreciate what's being done here, what I'm trying to do anyways, that you can suggest this maybe to some others. Okay, help press this along, because there is a difference between actual science and not actual science. Okay, so now let's get into what is science? What is the understanding of science? Where's that at? Oh, something else before I get into that real quick. The paper that I wrote, because I am confident enough in what this isn't exactly what I want. Because I am confident enough in what I wrote, the American Paranormal magazine, they printed my paper. And you can see it right here. Ghost frequency, a test on the possibility of ultrasonic recording in paranormal. And right down here, you can see my name, Philip Patrick Page. That is me. So my research has been printed internationally. As we can see right here, this is nationwide and international. So I've done the research. I took months to do the research. I wrote a paper on it. I had that paper printed, and it's out in publications internationally now. So I am trying my best to follow the scientific method. So let's get into that. What actually is the scientific method? And this is something that we all learned in grade school at one point or another. And again, this is through Berkeley. And so we have a question that we test. We observe and we test. And then we mark down what our observations are. And then we test again. And then we observe. And then we mark down those results. And we see if there's a pattern that's forming between different variables. And the results that we want, we include more of those variables, and the results that we don't want, we exclude the things that we think may be having those negative results. So this is saying testing hypotheses and theories is at the core of the process of science. So again, testing a theory, going back to the fact that there is no scientific proof. We can test a theory. We can test an idea. Okay? Any aspect of the natural world could be explained in many different ways. It is the job of the scientist to collect all of those plausible explanations and to use scientific testing to filter through them. I am not seeing this creator doing any kind of testing or filtering. We are seeing this creator on his homestead, doing everything from that homestead. Now, I'm not necessarily going to point fingers at that per se, because in a lot of ways, just as a content creator, it is easier to do that. I mean, it really is. So I'm not faulting that, but it gets back into why aren't you doing anything live for everybody and not your Patreons or not your group members, but live for everyone. So we have to test, and we have to do these tests in front of multiple people. We have to have other people test to see if they are getting the same results that we are getting. I am not seeing this person doing this. So it gets into so you have a theory, you test it, you assume something will happen. You have an expectation, and so you observe what is happening. And through that observation, is what happened what you suspected would happen? Did it really happen? Or did something completely opposite happen? And if something completely opposite happened, why? You question that. It's a constant reoccurrence of asking why and testing, asking why and testing. Not creating, and I can't make this any clearer, not creating an edited video and saying that what you have done is scientific proof. It is not. And I am walking through everyone right now what is actual or what could be in the world of paranormal. Okay, so there's that. I know that this particular conversation is going to annoy some people. And here's the thing, and I can't stress this enough. I'm not purposely going out of my way to try to directly discredit someone. I am trying to make sure that we have a clear understanding of what is science and what is not. So I want to share this. Again, this is from Berkeley. And it's talking about how science relies on evidence. So at the very top here, we have ultimately scientific ideas must not only be testable, but actually tested. And I think I read that part earlier. We start getting into experiments and observing those experiments. But down here it says performing such tests is so important to science because in science, the acceptance or rejection of a scientific idea depends upon the evidence relevant to it, not upon dogma, popular opinion, or tradition. In science, ideas that are not supported by evidence are ultimately rejected. An edited video on YouTube is not scientific evidence. It's not. It's not scientific proof. It is an edited video. We are not seeing any research that is done. We are not seeing any documentation, any real documentation that is being written on any of this. We are being given opinion and hope. And I'm sorry to say, a little dogma. Let's see. And ideas that are protected from testing or are only allowed to be tested by one group with a vested interest in the outcome are not part of good science. This is from Berkeley. Let me say this again. Ideas that are protected from testing or are only tested or only allowed to be tested by one group with a vested interest in the outcome are not part of good science. This content creator has vested interest in this app because of the creator of the app created his app. There's a relationship there. I have done a public test, and I'm happy to go live and do a test on that app. But I did an unedited, when it came to the actual testing, an unedited session with the app for 2 days, and the results were gibberish, or they didn't make sense to the questions that were asked. So I am sorry to say that this is not real science that this person is claiming. Until personally I start seeing some of these methods being followed, I'm not going to take this person seriously in regards to actually it being scientific proof, because it's not proof, because there is no such thing as scientific proof. There is evidence to support a theory. And something else that Berkeley has here is the participants. Yeah, let me get that, because I think that is important. All right. So, again, Berkeley, University of Berkeley. And the very opening here is talking about how science is sometimes misconstrued as an elite endeavor, but truthfully, anybody can do it if they follow these particular methods. And that even says it down here. However, science only works because people involved will behave scientifically. That is, behave in ways that push science forward. So when we get down to what that means, it's paying attention to what other people have already done. What have people done before you that you have built upon? Okay, so I mentioned... sorry, I forgot that gentleman's name already. Gentleman that I had learned about from New York University, who theorized that consciousness is energy. And I thought, interesting. Okay, so I took his idea, combined with the idea that has been, actually the laws of thermodynamics, which are well established, and using technology that other scientists have used in the field to record bats. They have already done that groundwork, but in different ways. All I did was test to see if these combined ideas could actually produce a result. So, what has this person done that pays homage to what other people have done? So I'm not going to answer that. That's just a question for you. Expose your ideas to testing. So this is one area that I know this particular content creator struggles with, because anytime someone says something against what his narrative is, he comes back with, this person doesn't understand science, or you're just not connected to spirit like I am, for example. And I'm not saying those exact words came out, but there has been enough over the last couple of years that, yeah, you get the idea. So, not really open to exposing to the ideas of other people actually testing. See, and this says that evidence is the ultimate arbiter of scientific ideas. Scientists are not free to ignore evidence. So when we have people out there who have tried not just this particular app, but other apps, and they have been different than what this person has been getting, their mindset should be, I wonder what is different about their situation. How can we correct this? There have been some people who have built ultrasonic devices based off of my idea, and they've contacted me about, hey, what can I do to help improve my situation? And I've worked with them on that. Marie and Pierre from Voices from Beyond Paranormal are one such group. So it says here that when faced with evidence contradicting his or her idea, a scientist may suspend judgment on that idea pending more tests, may revise or reject the idea, or may consider alternate ways to explain the evidence. But ultimately, scientific ideas are sustained by evidence and cannot be propped up if the evidence tears them down. So that gets back to what I said earlier. Person Z should be getting the same results as person A if these devices and these methods are actually scientifically plausible, okay? See, openly communicate ideas and tests to others. Communication is important for many reasons. If scientists keep knowledge to themselves, others cannot build upon those ideas, double check the work, or devise new ways to test ideas. This content creator in question has, in so many different videos, stated that he uses complex algorithms, and even one time said, and I'm sorry, I don't have this in front of me right now, but it was a post on the community bulletin stating that what he has done is unexplainable, but scientifically proven. And I believe that had to do with his reverse box. And has been very secretive as to how his devices are built, even though those of us who also have a background in music and photography can see the 3 guitar pedals and the guitar amplifier. So this person does not openly communicate ideas and test to others. I have offered my audio free to anybody who wants to download it and test it themselves using the methods that have worked for me. And then there's play fair, act with scientific integrity. Hiding evidence, selectively reporting evidence, and faking data directly thwart science's main goal, which is to construct accurate knowledge about the natural world. Hence, maintaining high standards of honesty, integrity, and objectivity is critical to science. Hiding evidence, selectively reporting evidence, and faking data. There is enough evidence out there to support this particular content creator's history of altering information that it's like a relationship that goes bad. Once that trust is broken, it's forever broken. There are people who will stand by this content creator until the end of time, and that's fine. I'm not asking anyone to watch something or someone that they don't want. They don't have to. The reason for this particular video, why I am coming out with it, and I'm sorry I keep forgetting that this is here. The reason I'm coming out with this is because the statement of some people just don't understand science. To me, that is a line drawn in the sand. And I'm going to step up to that because I do understand science. I'm explaining it right here. And what is science and what is not science. Okay? I understand that this particular podcast isn't going to be so exciting for a lot of people. Again, it's a talking head for the most part. But I feel it's clear to have out there in the world this information for those who choose to, pay attention to it. So now, the last part. And this is one of the big reasons why I do not believe that anything this particular person does is science, because peer review. Part of the scientific method is to submit your findings for a peer review. And I'm not talking about your buddies on YouTube. I'm talking about the scientific community. Submitting your information to the scientific community, because one person cannot claim that something is scientifically valid. The scientists cannot do that. It has to go before a review. And it's that peer review that can then say, okay, we have tested this from a variety of different angles. We have done follow-up research and everything looks good. Yeah, we can see this as being plausible. We can see this as being valid. I'm not seeing this content creator doing that. This content creator is coming out with videos proclaiming that what they have done is scientific proof. It is not scientific proof. It's an edited video on YouTube. If it is proof, do it live. Let everyone know what your parameters are. What time is it? What are the weather conditions? What's the temperature conditions? What is your setup like? And then do that test 8 more times. During the day, during midnight, during afternoon. Different locations. That and then write all of that down. Put down your findings. And make it available for everyone to test themselves. That is all part of the scientific process, not making a video and saying that what you have done is scientific proof. I can say, ooh, look, my microphone baffle is moving by itself. It's scientifically proven now that there is a ghost in my room. Look, my hands are right here, but ooh, and of course I'm being dramatic about it. But in my mind, it's kind of the same idea. So to go before a peer review means you have to scrutinize or have your test scrutinized. My paper is being reviewed right now by the Parapsychological Association, and it has been for the past 2 months now, and it may take a while. And this breaks down, again, this is through Berkeley, this breaks down what a peer review is. It's a group of scientists completes a study and writes it up in the form of an article. They submit it to a journal for publication. The journal's editors send the article to several other scientists who work in the same field, i.e. your peer. Those reviewers provide feedback on the article and tell the editor whether or not they think the study is of high enough quality to be published. And then it goes on from there, and they have a little description here of what it's like. I am not seeing a peer review. And no, I'm sorry, but having your friends on YouTube or your girlfriend or your son review it, that is not a peer review. It's not. So I just want to put that out there as well. So I know that this video may seem like I am attacking, and maybe to a certain degree I am. It's not my intention to attack. It's not. And if you have been a part of my channel for some time, you know, gosh, the first 5 years, I played nice. And as a matter of fact, I gave this particular content creator a lot of praise because there were some things that he did that were new and groundbreaking for the field. But since then, things have changed. And so I'm not looking to attack. What I am trying to hopefully do is show the difference between what is real science and what is dogma and what is what's not. You know, what is fake science. I put these screenshots on here so that you, the viewing audience, can go back and you can look this stuff up yourself. Look up consciousness is energy. Look up the laws of thermodynamics. Look up misconceptions of scientific proof. Look up scientific evidence. What constitutes scientific evidence? Now, if you don't want to do that, if you want to believe what this other content creator is saying and others like him, then that's fine. That's on you. That just means that there are a few things I feel that you are not ready to face. I had to come to terms with eventually that maybe I was wrong for following this particular content creator. It's not that I didn't learn anything, but learning how to plug a PSB7 scanning radio into an amplifier is not the same as creating a conversation about consciousness as energy and actually going through scientific steps of testing that. So what is your question? How are you going to test it? What are your parameters for testing? How long are you going to test for? What are the what's the documentation going to be like? Is there enough there to write a paper on, or is there nothing that happened? You know, so I just want to put this out there as, you know, something for everyone to think about. Again, this is not meant as an attack. I do want to make very clear, though, that this is how science works. And I hope most of you, anyway, will be able to step back and take a broader look at the field of paranormal and be able to say who's showing their work, who's not, who is saying what scientific proof, even though we've already explained there is no such thing as scientific proof. And who's actually trying. The thing is, if you're actually going to try to validate a theory, it takes time and it takes money. It's something that, if you're like me, you don't have a lot of. So you do what you can in hopes that someone will see it and either give a grant or help take you to the next level. So, but I feel that the testing that I have done has validated. Is it perfect? No, it's not. But has it validated a theory?